This is Classic FM from Global,
where you're about to hear an hour of the very best gaming music ever created. And for the first of ours, here is The Last of Us.
Next Level with DanTDM. Next Level with DanTDM
on Classic FM.
That was the hugely popular Zanakan from Final Fantasy X. And Video Games Live performed the music of Nobuo Uematsu for us. And before that, we started our time together with Gustavo Santaolalla's score to The Last of Us. That was the main theme. And we heard it right here on Classic FM, where you're listening to Next Level with me, DanTDM. It is great to have your company, and I can't wait for you to take a listen to the soundtracks I've lined up for us to enjoy between now and 10. We'll head to space for something from the Star Wars franchise, do some Saturday night dancing when we take a listen to Super Mario Party Jamboree, and enjoy a brand new release as well. Plus, as we're getting closer to the big day, I'll have a festive piece of classical music used in a video game for us to enjoy as well. But before any of that, here's a question for you. How many times a day do you think about the Roman Empire? Well, whatever number you came up with, add another one on, because we're heading there now, thanks to Jesper Kid and his score to Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. This is City of Rome. That was the music of Jesper Kyd, and we heard City of Rome from the 2010 game Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, and a studio orchestra performed it here on Classic FM.
Next Level with DanTDM
on Classic FM.
That was the main theme from the game Xenoblade, which will have definitely helped out if you're in need of an energy boost. And before that, we took a listen to Joseph Jacquet's score to The Legend of Spyro, A New Beginning, and that was the main theme. Now, if you've heard the show before, you'll know that I love bringing you a piece of classical music that's been used in a video game. And tonight, seeing as we're getting closer to Christmas, I thought we'd take a listen to something nice and festive from Tchaikovsky. It's been used in a few games like Tetris, The Sims 2, and Yoshi's Story, but it's the Saints Row franchise that I'm going to be focusing on. The games let you play as a customizable player character who's part of the 3rd Street Saints gang. Your role is to help them rise to power through a series of turf wars, and as the game progresses, you eventually become the gang leader. While you're playing, there's a few different radio stations to choose from, and that's where this Tchaikovsky piece comes into things, as it's part of the in-game station 102.4 Classic FM. Pretty good name, if you ask me, and the music on it more than matches. From the Nutcracker, this is Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy.
Classic FM.
That was the music from the boss minigame in Super Mario Party Jamboree. Shigenobu Akawa was our composer. And before that, for this week's piece of classical music used in a video game, we heard Tchaikovsky's Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairies from the Nutcracker, which you may have recognized from the radio station 102.4 Classic FM that was featured in the Saints Row series. And from games you may have grown up on to one that's brand new now. it's time for your weekly piece of brand new gaming music here on Classic FM. And tonight, it's from a game called Possessors, which is a 2D action-adventure game set in a ravaged city where a high school student named Luca teams up with a character Rem to survive. As you can imagine, it's pretty tense and there's plenty of combat, which can be enhanced by developing Luca's different abilities. Let me know if you've given it a go with an email through the Classic FM website while we listen to part of the score. This is Skyscraper Form. From the game Possessors, that was a track called Skyscraper Form. Azuria Sky and Joel Corlitz performed and composed it for us. I'll have another piece of brand new video game music for us to enjoy next Saturday night. But for now, let me give you a little window into what's coming up. I've lined up some Christopher Tin in the form of Civilization 6 and one of my favorite tracks from Super Metroid as well. So stay with me, DanTDM, for all that and more here on Classic FM.
Classic FM.
Classic FM Live is back at the Royal Albert Hall
An exciting evening of the greatest classical music.
with favourites from Rossini, Debussy, Handel and more.
And a stellar lineup of soloists, including classical guitarist Rosie Bennett, violinist Nemanja Radulovic, and tenor Lawrence Brownlee.
On the 20th of April, get tickets on Global Player.
Classic FM Live.
With Viking, destination-focused journeys on all 7 continents.
The car finance mis-selling scandal started way back in 2007. And let's face it, who keeps paperwork that old? Even the lenders are only obliged to keep details of your agreement for 6 years. But don't be put off, because complex law can track down your agreement details, make a claim, and seek to recover every penny in compensation you might be owed. Start your claim in just 60 seconds by searching Complex Law. Rated excellent on Trustpilot. Fee payable. See website for T's and C's. You can also claim for free by the Financial Ombudsman or FCA's proposed redress scheme.
Every investor has a future in mind, whether it's seeing your kids through uni or picturing yourself retiring in Tuscany. The hard part can be knowing how to get there. JP Morgan Personal Investing can help you see the path ahead. With our intuitive app, expert support, and 150 years of JP Morgan's investing experience, you can start making more informed investment decisions today. Search JP Morgan Personal Investing. Invest with clarity. Capital at risk.
Serious about the right vitamins for you and your family? Trust Vitabiotics, the UK's #1 vitamin company, for expert nutritional care for every age and lifestyle. Vitamins for everyone, including well man, well woman, well baby and well kid. From Boots, pharmacies and vitabiotics.com. For #1 verification, see vitabiotics.com.
I know every year it's the same. The ones you love most you leave until last. I just struggle to put into words how much you mean to me. Your hugs feel different to everyone else's. Your words hit harder. Your brew tastes better. But how can I say all that?
This Christmas, if you can't find the words, find the gift. John Lewis. Order by 12 p.m. on the 23rd to click and collect from John Lewis and Waitrose stores on Christmas Eve. Terms, conditions and exclusions apply.
Christmas is Giftmas at Currys, and we've got the perfect prezi for everyone who wants to look their very best. Like a Shark Facial Pro Glow Spa, the UK's first at-home facial system. Exfoliate, hydrate, extract pores and depuff those eyes with one device. Grandad, you're looking great, but it wasn't for you. And there's free delivery over £40. At Currys. Free delivery subject to availability.
Next Level with DanTDM.
On Classic FM.
This is Classic FM.
Riley Koenig there with a piece called The Erratic Engineer from the game Little Kitty, Big City. That deserves a round of applause, if you ask me. And before that, we heard the main theme from Civilization 6. The Macedonian Symphony Orchestra treated us to the music of Christopher Tin. Now, if you ever fancy getting in touch with me during the show or throughout the week, it's really easy. You can email in through classicfm.com. And that is exactly what Alan did to tell me about some really exciting news. He listens every week with his 8-year-old son, Ollie, and they've just found out that he's passed his grade 1 piano exam. Great work, Ollie, and maybe one day I'll be playing your music on the show. Your dad tells me that you love Star Wars, and seeing as you've passed your exam with flying colors, I reckon you deserve music that's out of this world. So here's Battle of the Revelator from Star Wars Outlaws. Wilbur Roget there with Battle of the Revelator from the game Star Wars Outlaws, played for Ollie after he smashed his grade 1 piano exam. Congratulations again. There's just about time for a couple more from me before your calm classics get underway here on Classic FM. And I mentioned earlier in the show that we take a listen to music from Super Metroid, which, if you haven't played it before, is an action-adventure game where you play as a bounty hunter called Samus Aran, who has to recover a stolen Metroid from space pirates. As you can imagine, the soundtrack is pretty intense and definitely matches the horror elements of the game. I know a few of you have asked me to play this one, so I'm glad that I finally can. This is a symphonic poem.
Next Level with DanTDM
on Classic FM.
That was a track called Everything's Alright from the game To the Moon. Laura Shijihara composed it and Kaori Miraji performed it for us. And before that, from Super Metroid, we took a listen to a symphonic poem, thanks to a helping hand from the London Philharmonic Orchestra and their conductor, Andrew Skeet. And sadly, that's our time together done for tonight here on Classic FM. Thanks for keeping me, DanTDM, company, and for all of your messages this week. I'll be with you again next Saturday night from 9, but for now, I'll leave you with your weekend calm classics. Have a great rest of your weekend.
Classic FM. Come and join us for Classic FM Live.
Hear the greatest classical music performed in the iconic Royal Albert Hall.
With the City of Birmingham Symphony Orchestra and a stellar lineup of soloists, including classical guitarist Rosie Bennett, violinist Nemanja Radulovic, and tenor Lawrence Brownlee.
On the 20th of April. Get your tickets on Global Player or at classicfm.com.
Classic FM Live with Viking. Discover voyages for curious travellers.
What are you doing?
Wrapping 8,000 magazines and newspapers. Radio Times, Good Food, Hello, The Guardian. Only 7,996 to go.
You could just give them a Readly gift card.
A gift card that gives them all these?
Yep, no tape, no mess, just unlimited reading.
With access to over 8,000 magazines and newspapers, all in one app, Readly lets them read more of what they love all year long. And with a special festive discount on gift cards, it's the perfect way to share the joy this Christmas.
My beans have been to Mexico. They once went to Peru. My beans, they flew to Portugal, then went to Tuvalu. My beans were with me in Italy, then came with me to Greece. I slurped their sauce on Spanish shores. I nibbled them in Nice. My Heinz beans have seen the world. They've travelled far and wide because they are, as we all know, too good to leave behind.
Okay, let me stop you there, sir. You still have to check them into the hold.
All right then. Honestly. Beans means Heinz.
Congestion's kicked in, your sinuses ache, so spray Atrovin to give yourself a break. Blocked noses are spreading, it's what we're all dreading. Colds and flu are coming to town.
Help keep your symptoms at bay this Christmas with Atrovin Congestion Relief Nasal Spray. Contains xylometazoline hydrochloride. Always read the Atrovin label.
Listeners, we interrupt the airwaves to share an incredible discovery. The reason why Britain hasn't been so great of late is because the country hasn't been eating enough Weetabix. We must get to work in rebuilding Great Britain, Bix by Bix. By delivering Weetabix to whoever plans the traffic diversions, to delivery drivers who can't seem to find your house, and people who don't stack the dishwasher properly. To Britain, we must say, have you had your Weetabix?
At Lily O'Brien's Chocolates, we know there are 3 types of people in this world. The ones we don't know, the ones we sort of know, and the ones we really know. Our best friends, our families, the ones we pull crackers and eat festive treats with. They're the best type of people, so give them a truly special gift this Christmas. Lily O'Brien's Desserts Collection. Indulgent chocolates inspired by classic desserts. The perfect gift for the ones you really know.
When it comes to retirement advice, the last thing you want is to be put in a bucket. Seen as this type of person, or that type of person. At Fisher Investments UK, we never put you in a bucket. We always tailor retirement advice that's just right for you. Fisher Investments UK. Retirement advice that's as individual as you are. Learn more at fisherinvestments.co.uk. Investing involves the risk of loss. Fisher Investments UK is regulated by the UK Financial Conduct Authority.